Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for you. Know that energy is fluid, rules can be reversed. Interpret the message as best resonates. You also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they played as karmic themes, to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, right? If you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life, you want to know why, like, nasty people come into your life, or why, like, people that just like to bully you, or people that like to pretend that there's something wrong with you, or people that undermine your talents, or you want to know why you attract that. And so when we integrate the spiritual lesson, that's when we see, oh, that's what I'm doing. And that's why I'm doing it. See, once you can like put bypass the logical, analytical, reptilian mind, which is all about survival, by saying giving it an explanation, it's not going to like release that negative energy. See, you're only in physical form to learn and to manifest. So, and just because you see, you're like, oh, that's what I've done, doesn't mean that you really know of another reality. It makes you guess another reality and makes you do something different, right? Again, a lot of times we're uncomfortable, but we become even more uncomfortable staying where we are. And so when we're looking at these relationships, again, or not, it doesn't need to just be a relationship. A lot of times it plays out as a relationship, our karmic wounds, but it can also be money issues. You're just tired of like experiencing the same thing. Where you could even say, I found a job, I really thought I loved it, and then I'm like, ugh, it's like I can't stay consistent. I'm bored. I don't feel fulfilled. All those are signs of being spiritually imbalanced. So this channel obviously has a therapy style to it to help you understand why things are playing out the way that they are, not just within your relationship, but within your life. All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you know where to find it. All right. I'm going to be having more coaching, because I'm trying to build the channel and the subscriptions up so that you would see what you get with the coaching. And the coaching is a lot different on YouTube than it is in school, because I obviously can't share PDFs. I can't share documents. We can't do exercises together. And part of healing the effects of trauma is that you do cognitive therapy. And that is a lot of reframing, is a lot of going back and integrating the spiritual lesson. But what you'll notice when you're healing like in a group, which is amazing, like you get the support of the group. You get you what you see is, hey, I'm not the only one that felt like that. You build real authentic connections because you're allowed to talk about trauma in the group, obviously. It's a trauma healing group. And what's really great with school is I get to see you. You get to interact with me like on like a Zoom or a Google. So I get to see you. You get to ask me questions. You get to get your coaching for like a fraction of the cost. It broke my heart today. I had a client call me up because I referred somebody that I believe that she needed brain-based therapy. And she said, Laura, I would need to take on 2 other car payments to afford to go to this person. And, that's horrible that, you know, person doesn't take a sliding scale. And I feel really bad for even referring, because now the person feels helpless. She's like, should I start a GoFundMe page? Should she like, that's an excess stress that she didn't need, where really, if you can't afford therapy, well, again, the group coaching always accepts you. And that's the thing, because a lot of people feel rejected. They feel like, well, did go to therapy and they don't really care about me. They didn't answer my questions. They just told me to figure out everything myself. And I wouldn't fucking be in the therapy if I could figure it out. It's just, kind of a little, stupid. A lot of times it's like the therapy shouldn't give you therapy. That should be my slogan. Therapy shouldn't give you therapy. I mean, because it's true, especially over a relationship, right? So we've been starting off the readings with just looking at your energy, not looking at the relationship. And what I've noticed is energy takes a long time to play out. If I give you a reading today, it's not going to unfold tomorrow. It unfolds over a course of time, right? So you may need this energy for like a few weeks, a few months, or a year. And that's because certain tests, and karmic ones that we really have a strong connection to, right? Obviously, that's a big test because it plays out over years. And big tests refer to what? Life changing. Like if you're with the wrong person, they can take you off the track, they can give you their karma, and you can relive a negative karmic contract, that binds you to your inner child wound. You can also choose a different direction a lot of times and, create something completely different, but being happy about your choice, not worrying about your choice. So there's a lot of like different karmic themes that play up, but it's a pivotal time because, we don't stay in cycles forever. We get out of a cycle. And when we get out of a cycle, we say, well, and the cycle could be it's a breakup or someone dies, or it's a big transition point. You lose a job, you have to uproot. So you have an opportunity to do things differently. You have an opportunity to break the karmic cycle, is what spirit says. And so a lot of people, they don't learn. They go right back into like the karmic situation. So I've just been picking random cards. No rhyme, no reason, just from a few different decks to see like what do we need to look at for you? Because we get tired of just looking at a relationship that's not going anywhere. Let's face it. It's like, fuck that, It's like, and understand you have to transmute that energy. Because I think I wrote that within the title too. Because a lot of times it's like, well, I want to know why every little thing triggers this person. And then it's like, I always have felt with the lingering energy of it not being fair. Like if I have to be with you, it's like, it's not fair. And it's like, I don't want, why is that? And spirit says, well, that's because you're not learning. You have to do something with that energy. Because when you get that angry and you're connected to someone and you refuse also to let go of that person, and you might be like, I've let go, but there's nothing to take its place. And that's really, you need something for it to take its place. That's what you do with the transmutation process, is alchemy. You're taking energy from one and you're putting it into something else more for you. When things are unfair, you don't stay in an unfair situation. The person might always try and make things revert back to their way, but if you're not balanced, you will go. Balance is your connection to your physical body, the physical world, to God, through your purpose, through the money, through, again, why? Because you're whatever you're giving time to all day should be giving you something in return. It's called the law, it's the spiritual law. Otherwise, like you're saying, you're not worthy of anything. And unfortunately, money is the currency. It's like no one's bringing you a loaf of bread to like, but in China, if you would actually go to China, like they from what I hear, they pay you in your lights. They pay you with your food. They pay you like that, which you give up your spiritual sovereignty. And your spiritual sovereignty is, why we're here. Because God said, well, Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, but you're going to learn through pain and suffering. But I love you so much. You have the gift of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit allows us to transcend the limitations of our mind, because there was no separation between us and our Creator. So the spiritual war on consciousness is actually the spiritual warfare of the mind. So when you see bad relationships and you see money issues, and when you see things are shaded to make you perceive that you can't have, And that's because you're saying, well, I'm basing my life on my experiences and logically. And God says, you're a spiritual being. So logically does not trump spiritually. So you're giving up your spiritual sovereignty. There's a lack of faith. And so Spirit says that's why shadow readings are important, because not just about the relationship. It's not just about like the lack of money. It's the energy of resentment over time, the energy of being like in situations that are unfair. And there's nothing more unfair than socialism, in my opinion. They'll shade it like it's support, but that's only if you give up your right. And so a lot of people say, I don't know how to tap into that, or they're so spiritually blocked that they can't. But a telltale sign would be the relationship. Now, I don't know why I said what I say. It's again, I start the readings off, and sometimes I say, and sometimes I don't. Like, again, I'm not running the show. It just seems like I am. So Spirit says, well, it's all about clearing family karma. This is a hard one. But look, two were stuck together through diplomacy, and being of a higher vibration. And so the family karma would be betrayal. And betrayal always keeps you in a place of imbalance. So, that means the underlying energy is that you have the opportunity to break family karma during this karmic cycle is coming to an end, or re-enter into family karma, which is why I said what I said earlier. And so Spirit's saying it's like, and being angry obviously is putting you in a place of disequilibrium. We have to come to a place of spiritual equilibrium. And that's only through surrender. And that can only be through acceptance and forgiveness. And that's really hard to do. Family karma is usually like, I don't forgive you because you betrayed me. And because you betrayed me, I keep attracting this. People like that. People that make me feel. So it's again this illusion that again, that you don't have spiritual sovereignty, because you're not your family. Your family grew up around certain times, during certain periods of time, and they collected, they inherited collective karma. There were wars, there was poverty, there was struggle, there was like again victimization and shame and all those energies that they didn't learn how to transmute. They weren't taught spiritually, they were taught religiously, dogmatically. So they never knew how to really become spiritually clean. And so when that happens, it's like the same karmic patterns just continue to play out, because you don't know anything else. You just feel like, well, this is what it is, so I have to accept. And God says, so you're giving up your spiritual sovereignty. It's like, because God says, again, you can create your heaven on earth. One day I come again, but that's through the character of man. But there's a spiritual war happening right now. I don't know if you see it. And many will fall prey, because they'll say, I can't pay the rent. I can't pay this. Money has no energy. So they will keep raising things. Things will become more and more and more and more expensive. So you have to find that passion inside of you. You have to, again, that deity part of self is a light. God said, I had to put myself inside of you because, hey, it's not safe out in the world. Don't become part of the world, be in the world without becoming a part of it. And so you need to have discernment. Otherwise, you're going to be screwed. And so a lot of people are like, again, they don't know how. They're too afraid. Other people, other situations have formed where they are now, and they, they give up their right. So that it could be the family karma of giving up your right. Like here it is, you would be with someone that would try to make whatever you're doing into what they're doing, or someone that, wouldn't let you have friends, wouldn't let you have like your own identity per se, your expression, someone that suppressed you. So, because codependency is always what you'll see within the family karma. You see the relationships that are, and you're also taught wrong because there's anger and there's resentment and there's, it didn't mean that these people weren't good. It means that people did the best that they could do with the stress that they had to deal with from, paying rent, relationships, and other things. And so Spirit says, for you, it's time to be brave. It's like to that strong within yourself. And this is connection to your physical body, the physical world, your connection to God, really. And that's through your purpose. And so understand, hey, when you are on the verge of bringing karmic cycle, people are not going to be applauding. That's the whole thing. Because, hey, it worked better when you didn't know your worth. It worked better when I could take advantage of you. Why do you think that there's no religion in certain parts of the country? So that you don't know. So you don't know, you're stupid. Ignorance. Yeah, and that's really what it is. It's like ignorance of being able to hone into that power that every single person has, because you're not here by mistake, you're here by God's design. And so Spirit says, so are you going to give it up and go into a relationship, back into a relationship with someone that is in balance? Someone that doesn't have a problem, that ghosts all the time. This person, that's what they do. They can't handle things, they ghost. They don't know how to have a conversation. There's someone that's immature. There's someone that's not on your vibration. So Spirit's saying is, and why be in a fixer role? And I only say that because a lot of times people go into that. Your words have power beyond the infinite understanding of your planetary mind. So being around somebody that's going to trigger you all the time, you're not going to be positive. You're not. And like your mindset, and people don't realize it, and they do it with little jabs. They pick away at your self-esteem. So someone that shows you that they can't have a conversation and is going to ghost you, that's the way that they handle it. And they just come back and be like, oh, well, did you get over yourself? Let me come back now. It's like, that is very disrespectful. And Spirit's saying, and you would not be happy, like I said. And why is that? Because this person's going to come back and be like, I kind of know that you're not going to want to be with me, so I'm going to like offer friendship. It's like, and God says, with friends like that, you don't need an enemy, because this person is like, sees everything that you're doing within your career. I mean, and we've been getting this card like every day, like almost, like maybe not every day, but we've been getting it a lot. And the deck is a pretty big deck. So Spirit's saying like, yeah, because you're in the midst of a transition, an upgrade. And here it is, like this person already knows that you've cut, your energy from them, understand that, because they ghosted you. If anything, they left you. They just thought you were going to run after them. They just thought you were going to be so devastated. You put the time into your career and, life opens up. So this person doesn't know how to come back. And so it's, again, they're going to try and be your friend. And so Spirit says, nourish your body with the right foods and be around people that, make you feel good. Don't deprive yourself of anything, but don't deprive yourself, because this person you might really have a strong connection to this person, and they know how to like pull on people's heartstrings. They know they're manipulative. And you might say, well, I'm still not going to take them back. They're going to be consistent, is what Spirit's saying. And that's going to be annoying, because especially if you're focused on your career, is what Spirit's saying. Like, you're going to need to tell this person to back off. It's like you're going to need to be like, have strong boundaries with this person. And that this person's not going to like it. They're not going to like it, because it's like, what are you doing? They want to like nose around in your business, like, who are you talking to? Like, why do you want to talk to me? What are you doing? What are you doing with your business? None of your fucking business. It's like, that's back off. It's like, they're going to do whatever you want to do now, like whatever you want, because there's a sense of, well, if you told me to back off, like that doesn't mean you didn't say, get out of my life. So, you might say, I'm giving you nothing but breadcrumbs, buddy, and or a girlfriend. And the person's like, well, I know that that's what I deserve. So I'm going to deal with it for a certain amount of time. And then I'm going to try and inch my way up, like a little kid does. It's like, I know I'm punished, but, like I heard the TV go on at like 8 o'clock, and it was my favorite TV show. I heard the music, and you guys are having ice cream out here. So I just figured, and like you'd feel bad for them. So there's a little bit of neediness there, a little bit of codependency there. So and understand this, what is this person isn't that innocent. Just like if you have a child that does that, you're like, listen, you're not that innocent. You pretend that you're innocent. Everybody that's invited over that has never met you, you won the Academy Award, but I know who you are. And that's why Spirit says it's about you being strong within yourself. It's about you saying, no, I'm breaking this cycle. Because family karma means, family curses, generational curses. And generational curses and money problems. And if it's career, then Spirit says, oh, but bing, 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 because that made you feel inadequate. That makes you feel that there's something wrong. Where understand codependency, there's usually one person that's very good with money, one person that's not. The one person that's not good with money, they're emotionally cut off. And there's usually addiction and other, like, it's codependent. It's just not a healthy thing. So understand this person's codependent. And emotionally, they're going to pull on those heartstrings because it's like, I know, but understand that's the lingering like resentment almost, because it's almost like if you don't do what you do, because it's like, well, now you're making me feel bad. So now I feel bad because I have feelings, but it's like, and the Spirit says that this is about you cutting your energy off and treating that person like a child and saying, I don't care that you're upset. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I'm going to do what I want to do now. Because that person, you'll never transmute that negative energy. And understand that person is actually helping you because they light a fire underneath your ass because they get you pissed off. Like, how dare you? How fucking dare you? Excuse my language, but that's the energy there where it's like lingering resentment because it's unfair, because you continuously, and Spirit says, hey, but this is yours. This is yours, what you're doing. And this person is like, what are you doing? Like, who are you going to meet? What's going to happen for you? And there's, again, like codependency means like the person thinks that they have a right. And so that's why it's coming out in your reading when I say, oh, well, it's supposed to be just this person's energy. It's not supposed to be like that. And we didn't even look at the wounds really yet. And the Spirit says, no, because it's an urgent reading, because this person's coming back and they're going to, and you need to stay focused. You need to stay grounded. You need to stay, again, boundary, back off. It's like, because that person's not going to go anywhere. That's the thing. They're going to try and win you over. So, but it's, again, boundaries. You have to say, like, if you're too much, I'm not going to be able to deal with you. It's like that person's going to learn boundaries. They're going to learn balance. And they don't like balance because they're very imbalanced. Remember, spiritual equilibrium, surrender. They don't want to surrender. The ego, fear. What are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing? Like, you changed your energy. It's like, none of your business. Back off. It's like you didn't earn that right. The Spirit says you have to kind of be like that because that's how that person treated you. So now the shoe needs to go on the other foot. Spirit says, and you know what? That's not your energy. You're not like this. You're usually like, well, let me like give the benefit of the doubt. And God says, no. If you notice, you got a lot of assholes in your energy. It's like, because it's like, hey, you're going to leave a karmic cycle. Hey, that means you benefit. We don't. I don't like that. I liked it better when you didn't like yourself and you didn't know. Like, who are you? You should disregard yourself. And so, again, the people are not going to like it. And Spirit says, so it's time for you to be like, I'm sorry. My limousine is waiting. Who are you? Oh, you're my sister. I don't remember. I mean, you need to kind of a little bit of, I don't have time for you. It's like you be like that the way that they were to you. Watch them bug out. And Spirit says they need to. It's like, because it's like you've done the work. It's like, that's why, like, opportunity. And the Spirit says, worthlessness wound again, and broken trust. So we didn't pull all of them, but obviously then you were the bad one. See, there was broken trust because of betrayal, where it's like, well, I'm going to treat you like the dog of the family, or I'm going to treat the dog actually was treated better if you had a dog. But more like you don't matter. I'm going to put you beneath everyone else. I'm going to put you in a place of feeling like less than. And so I feel like you might have triggered your parent. And so and then when you stood up for yourself, it's like, oh, you're so rebellious. You're so rebellious. You're like, you're wrong. And so like almost like shame, when really you're like, okay, I didn't do anything. It's like, but you're projecting, but because I'm going to like stand up for myself, because I want more for myself, because it's like that person enjoyed to take their anger out on you, is what Spirit says. So that is the wound. And so it's almost like your mother grew up in an environment that her parent did that. Her parents grew up in environments that their parents did that. That's the karmic curse. It's like it was very abusive. It's like, I'm angry because of my life, and I'm going to project it onto you. And if you stand up, again, because it's dysfunction, when there's codependency in the house, where one person is emotionally not getting, but they're doing everything, just not paying the bills. They don't do anything monetarily, but they do everything for everything else. And then eventually they wind up having to get a job, but because, to usually fix the more onset, because over time, it's not like imbalance gets better. What happens is it gets worse. Where if somebody gets sick, someone again, they get in their own way, they sabotage themselves, because codependency means that there's a flaw. You feel like there's something wrong. So you have two people that feel broken trying to save each other. And yes, there was this connection, and it was during a certain pivotal time in a person's life. So a person could be lost their mother or lost their father, and it was like a emotionally turbulent time, or it was some big transition where that person had an opportunity, either do what you want to do and live your life, or be with this person that comes in super fast, super charming, super pulls on those heartstrings, becomes everything that you need. And then once you give them that, they turn into who they actually are. And that is somebody that, is going to be real controlling. That's going to be someone that, gets triggered over every little thing, is very moody. And here it is, that energy takes up your space because that person doesn't know how to fulfill themselves. That's why. So Spirit says, you don't realize when you heal yourself, you make that person heal. It's like, so part of you being like, no, it's like the person eventually is going to be like, do you think that this person's going to be with someone that's needy? That someone, look at their life. Your life will reflect that you will not. And that person's ego then will turn against itself and say, well, I want that. Well, I want that. I want that life. I want. So sometimes you just come into a person's life and you are the muse. This person thinks that, like, again, time, like they know, it's been a long time that they ghosted. They've been away and they feel like there's still a spiritual connection. I'm not going to lie. And they feel like, it's patience. Patience. We're learning patience, where it's like, I feel like, this person is going through like a dark night of the soul right now, and they need space to rest from a higher perspective. They're releasing old energy, and I feel like it's because you are being like, I'm not, I'm not into this. I'm and like we've been getting variations of this reading, so it's almost like this person is saying, I'm coming back regardless of whether you want me to or not. I'm accessing past life wisdom. It's helping me understand things with a new perspective. I feel your energy around me, and I wonder, you're thinking about me too. And then this, our mission is to be unconditional love. Clearing the programming is a necessary part of opening our hearts. So this person is saying, well, almost like, you're my person, and now I'm going to come back and I'm going to help you. And Spirit says, do not. Do not. That's codependent. Again, they might be great with money, they might be great with whatever, but they see you as the entire package, where this is your thing. That is what Spirit's saying. This is your thing, and you need to go out into the world and explore and find yourself. Because understand, this person wants to come in fast, so because almost like, I want to nail it down, but they had plenty of time to nail it down, and they didn't want to. And now that they want to, you need to tell that person, I don't really have time for you. I don't. It's like, you need to like do what you need to do for yourself. I mean, you need to be like that, because this person will go and date other people. It's not like they won't, but they'll always look for you in that person, and understand that, because Spirit's saying, like, this person sees your life as like, oh, like it's smooth sailing, luxury, travel, because that's like what you're moving into. To be honest with you, with whatever the career, whatever, like, life, there's going to be opportunities. So there's a sophistication to this, where this person never in a million years thought that you would obtain that. Never. And either did half these people that are like sitting in the room. Like, that's why Spirit said it's time for you to be a little bit like that. Like, that's right. I'm not going to be around. It's like, because it's like, wait a minute, who are you? And it's going to make them mad, like I said. So Spirit saying is to make this person mad, because it's like, they had you. You were nice. You were giving. They don't hold the same seat anymore. And that's what Spirit's saying. It's like, again, there's opportunities. People are mad. People are going to express that they're mad, because you're moving on. Again, it's like, that's what it is, where you keep going forward regardless of what's happened. Like, again, it's a new life for you. It's a new beginning for you, and people are not liking it. And that's how your reading started. So this person like hates the fact that they're losing grip, when you're like, they weren't in my life the whole freaking time. Yeah, they took you for granted, because it's like, hey, there was always like this connection, like where you felt like home, like you felt like that, which is a past life connection. So almost like you were always going to be there. But the problem is, like, this person, like you said, is like, they are like working on themselves. But what you see is they're still like this, like, they want to be like dominant. It's like, they're going to work on themselves. They're really going to think that they're a great catch, and they're really going to be in And that's why it's like you were supposed to come into this person's life to help them to heal. And I feel like, and for you to like really step into your power, because what you do with that energy, like when somebody makes you like that angry, it's a creative force, it's a like really a commitment to yourself. There's a lot of spiritual power in the fact that there was a connection, but what you need to be faithful to is yourself. And the reason why is because you're creating stability for yourself. And when you do, it's not just going to be like mediocre, it's going to be like almost like over the top, where people are like, what the hell? And it's almost like, yes, and you disrespected me and you treated me badly and you did not treat me well. And so don't have time for you. It's like, and Spirit says, because that's the only thing that's going to balance the scales, is what Spirit says, because the scales are not. This person sees everything now, like, oh my God, I didn't see, they're seeing it now. Everybody's seeing it now, and they're like a little pissed. And this person saying, like, I have 50-50 chance of coming back, like they don't know, but it's bothering more for them not to know. That's the issue. And the reason why is because, oh, you're going to have this great life and going to move on and going to be happy. And where am I going to be in it? And you're like, I don't know where the fuck you're going to be. Like, but you're not going to be anywhere near me, And there's an energy there. So, like I said, believe it or not, there really is healing. It's like this person is going to come in and, like I said, they're going to promise everything. And I feel like even them apologizing is going to be somewhat healing to you, but, like, I feel like what you'll do is you will eventually be friends with this person because they're going to wear you down, because it says strong relationship, which is actually healing. And it's like, and it's one that maybe you're not like forever close with, but you'll be able to pick up the phone and, where this person will still probably have all the issues that they still have. It's not like they're different. It's just this realization of you being like, oh no, I can't really be with someone like you, because you don't heal yourself. However, there is this unconditional love, and this person does see you as kind of like a muse, where they look up to you and would probably get advice from you, and probably, like, as a good friend, they would think of it like that. And it would be like what this person needs to open up their heart, because they have like a closed heart chakra. But the only way is if you'd be like, no, everything is my way and I don't really have time for you, and I'm kind of like stuck up. Because this person is either around people that act like they're stuck up and they try and fit in, or they're the ones that treat people like shit. So you want to be the one that's a little stuck up, and you are like in a more superior way because you've done the work. And so the way that you would come across snooty would not really even be that snooty, because that's not your energy. And so Spirit's saying, but it's what this person needs, because they're overly sensitive. A person that needs healing is going to be oversensitive, because everything that they do is they get in their own way. They also have family karma. Understand that. Codependency. They didn't do the work. Understand now what's happened is like this person is getting a lot of spiritual insight again from you. And so that's what it says the whole time. Like, they're learning the spiritual insights. Everything's for the healing, believe it or not. And this so that you get to see yourself differently, because you need to. And this person needed to learn. And I mean, do they think, no, they want to be in a relationship with you, but they'll settle for friendship. They'll settle for whatever you give them. And where I feel like that's not the energy that they were in before, which tells me if they're going through ascension symptoms, well, there are other things in life that are also making this person awaken, and that happens like what a lot of times when everything falls apart. There's a dark night of the soul. person's not happy. They have to figure out what they want. They have to look at like their behavior really, which is what is they never did. And there's epiphanies there, and they are releasing old energy of about what I've been tolerating, how I've been living, why I've been living that way. So again, this is a very spiritual connection that I feel like you were never really meant to be with this person, like you, and vice versa. You just got like they were abusive when you were with them, and abusive could be again just gaslighting, not valuing you, not valuing your time, making you again like trying to act as if they were more superior to get leverage, try to make you be subservient. And there's still a little bit of that, because that's a fearful thing when a person hasn't found themselves enough and they really do have feelings for someone. They're afraid that that person's always going to leave because of how they feel about themselves. People, when they get into a relationship and are healthy, they don't say, "When are you going to leave?" That's not what they do, because what they do is they're in their life. And what they say, well, if you don't call me, then guess what? I don't really care, because I have a job, I have friends, I have hobbies, I have interests, I have other things, and I'll meet someone else eventually. That's someone that has a good self-esteem. This person's codependent. Remember, so that means there's probably not that many friends and that not that much of a life. You would be their life. That's the issue. And that's so it's not about love, but this person also, like, because they do love. However, they are so wounded where they don't even know how to communicate. So it's like, I'm going to ghost you. I'm going to stonewall you. I'm going to suppress you. Now act like you don't really matter. But did this person mean to make you feel that way? No, I don't think that they did. I think that they were just like a kid. Oh, I was bad. I got caught with the cookie. I'm going to run away and pretend that I didn't do it. I'm not going to face it, because then you're not going to give me any more cookies. So, I mean, kind of like that, or I'm going to stay away from you until you like take it back. Take it back. It's like where you're like, take what back? You were mean to me. It's like almost like they like not like a child, because that's what it is when a person can't have a conversation, and they're going to emotionally manipulate. It's like, what are you, like a child? It's like, and now this person feels stupid and they feel foolish, but they're not on the same vibration, Spirit says, and that's due to how they grew up. And you grew up the same way. You did work. They did not. That's what that looks like. When you detach from them, you did work. That's why they're seeing all the good results, and they're like, well, we always had a relationship, and you're like, no, I really do love you, but the timing wasn't right. And that's really like what they're going to go with. They're going to go with that. It's like where it's like you knew that they had feelings for you. It's not about that. It's like, why abuse is not love, though. And so I want to get back together, but I'm afraid. Like, so it's like they are afraid because they'll know that they're going to screw it up. And they also, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to say no, and so I wasn't ready for real love at the time. I'm so sorry. Like this person is like, please give me time to work on some of myself more. You mean so much to me that you never know. So it's again, this person that has very strong feelings for you, but they're not going to show it. They're not going to talk about them. They feel like they need to work on themselves more. And so, I feel like eventually they're going to come back and they're going to try to be your friend, and they're going to try and they will be a friend. That's the irony. And it's because you don't care. You don't care. And Spirit says, well, that's a level really that you should always be at until someone earns it. Like the thing is, you always overgave. And so when you always overgive, and you came from an environment that, was imbalanced, or you have a lot of inner child wounds, right? Where you don't know your value. We did see unworthiness, but abuse just fell out. That could be psychological, it could be emotional abuse. Doesn't need to be physical, but a lot of times it is with this card. So it's like a parent would get so mad that they would hit, not every day. It was mainly emotional and psychological. However, when that parent would get really, really triggered, they would hit. And so, being afraid again, and you were the black sheep. So there you go. It was abusive. You grew up in an abusive environment. That's why the people around you, they're like, oh, we're better than you because you know what? You're overgiving, you're over nice, you don't know your worth, you act stupid. You know what? Who are you? You're trash. And that's not what you are, but people like to do that because it makes them feel better about themselves. It has absolutely nothing to do, and that's why Spirit says, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. God says, I'm tired of this shit. We're gonna like put you in different energy, because who are these people to say that when you're doing the work? Like they need to tend to their own garden. And I'd like to display my glory through your broken in front of your haters, because it's, again, I'm tired of it. And I love you more than anything. So I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect you, and I'm going to like make sure that you have the last laugh. Because you've always been a truth speaker, even through the abuse. Like you never lost faith. Oh, might have felt like you lost faith. Might have been mad and detached from God. You might have, but you still always searched. You always searched for a better way to heal yourself, to change, to do what you could do. So Spirit's saying, I reward that. So of course you were seen as rebellious because you were not, again, that inner teenager, like again, rebellious. You're the bad one. Where Spirit says you had to be. You had to be rebellious once in a while. I mean, these people, they were treating you badly. They were treating you like there was something wrong with you. So again, like you have God inside of you. That God inside of you is only going to tolerate so much, before you like get angry and act out on it. And that's what then they're all like, oh, look, you reacted. Look how you reacted. Look at the reaction. So it's reactionary abuse, when meanwhile, they're abusive and they're gaslighting to make you perceive that there's something wrong with you. That's when you, like, if you have to deal with a person like that, you hire lawyers, because it's like, because it's like, no, I'm not gonna let you show me your reality, because that's going to contradict my reality. And then I have to question my reality. And then I have a lot of fear. I like to hide behind this mask. And so where Spirit's saying you were surrounded by that, because you were born into like a generational curse where, there were things about you that reminded your parents of the things that they didn't like about themselves. Maybe again, your sensitivity, your like, niceness, or like more naiveness, maybe you weren't a good student, maybe whatever it was. It's like it was projection. So you weren't really grounded as a child. Children go out and play. That's how they find themselves, right? Well, again, if you're too busy surviving, you're playing, but it's like that's always kind of lingering in the back of, what's the abuse going to be like today? When you grow up that way. And then, psychologically and emotionally, it's not like, the black sheep gets the support that they need. On an emotional level, they don't. If anything, they're getting beaten up on a day, and because the environment is shaded to make you look a certain way, and people gaslight to try to make you question yourself. But what it did was just made you more rebellious, made you more strong. So it's like, oh, you're the bad one. But it's like Spirit says, yeah, but it helped you like break out of that, box that they wanted to put you in, which was not even a fair box. It's one of like undervalue, like it's the one where you don't get to go out into the world, you don't get to find yourself, you don't, I mean, the wonders of you and the wonders of the world, the wonders of you is like, wow, the different talents, hobbies, things that you like, things that you don't, going out and really finding yourself. It's like you don't know because like you didn't, you were too busy fighting, surviving. That was the environment. It's like, and so, and growing up with family ancestral curses, the codependency, money was like this, on, off, on, off. It's a second chakra imbalance. Sometimes they had it, sometimes they didn't. And there was a lot of fear around money. So that's why it's again, there was no ground. Ground comes in becoming yourself. It's not through running out and getting a job and then trying to mold to that job. It doesn't work that way. Not to get great results, it doesn't anyway, unless it happens to be your dream job that you fell into, which can happen. However, a lot of times it doesn't happen. It comes from finding who you are, the passions of your life, the things that inspire you, and then feeding that energy. That's why they say the only way out is in, and it's through your imagination, and it's through innovation. It's through becoming yourself, rewriting the story. So again, people made you perceive that you were less than because they gaslit, but you've been healing yourself and you're not that person, but people still want to treat you like that you're that person, and it's not working. And that's what's freaking them out, because it's like, well, I didn't treat this person nicely. I didn't treat them, and now they're going to be able to treat me the way that I treated them. But Spirit says that's the irony, my friends, because that's not who you are. We're going to go back to this. You're diplomatic about it. You're kind. You give love. And that is, again, the virtue coming from this higher vibration, where it's like you have a choice to be snooty, where Spirit says you should act a little snooty, but that's only because then you'll act confident. We have to say, like, again, overcompensate for the lack, because you really, again, were around people that made you feel bad about yourself. So I got to ask you to overdo it a little bit, because then we'll make the mark. Otherwise, we're not going to make the mark. You're just too nice. And it's due to, like, again, knowing what it feels like, being empathetic, taking on that person again. And that's why they're going to pull all that. And you're still going to be kind, where you say, oh, Angela, you let this person be your friend. They'll be happy to help you. They'll be happy, and it will be different. And that's what this person can handle. They really can't handle anything else. I'm not going to lie. So Spirit says it's more about now for you, the transmutation process. And the transmutation process is like, you have to do something with that energy. You just can't get rid of it. It doesn't work that way. We got to find the deck, though. You just can't get rid of it. You wish that you can get rid of it, but it's like, it's fire energy. That's what that lingering, like, unfairness turns to resentment. It's like pissed off. Spirit says, and that's because it's so unfair, and people didn't care about me. So even though they're not in my life, I'm angry. And Spirit says, you create with that energy. That's what you do with it. That's what you're supposed to do with it. You're supposed to light a fire underneath your ass to get you moving, to get your blood boiling, so that you can channel. That's the empath power. Kind of like, who was that from the X-Men? Or was it the X-Men? I don't know. I don't know. Wolverine was in it. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. And there was the empath girl. They used to get so mad, or he used to get so mad, and was able to change things, and that's the thing. When you channel your energy, it's like the Hulk, when the Hulk used to get pissed off, it was messing up everything because it didn't care. and that's like you get mad enough, and that's the energy that you really need to channel. All right, wait a second. There's some of these cards are not. This is what happens when you mix decks. Okay. Had a bunch of different, and there's a little bit too many, but we're going to look at them after and just out of curiosity. What are they? All right. So Spirit's saying, like, you have to transmute that negative energy. And we say first, by getting a very strong connection to the higher self. The higher self is the God part of self. Remember, it goes back to the beginning of the reading where Spirit says, you and I are always co-creating through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So when the phrase is Jesus take the bus, it's like take the wheel, take the bus. It's like you're like leaving it up to the universe per se to like, to guide you. And so Spirit's saying, and the way that we can do that is to become strong within ourselves. Understand if you grew up in an environment where you were gaslit all the time and you were questioned, you would not be strong within yourself. So you'd have to still heal yourself, because it might mean I'm strong within myself sometimes, but then around certain situations, I get overstimulated. So Spirit says, just get into the habit of, creating time out to meditate, to do that. It's also will help you rejuvenate. Spirit says, take a leap of faith in any direction. Risks are going to be rewarding right now. It's like to try things, it's more grounding, and it's like hobbies, friends, try like being interactive in the world. Spirit doesn't just work through you through gut intuition and knowing, it works through your environment to bring you other opportunities, to bring you like the right connections is what Spirit's saying. It's like your path isn't fully visible. You don't really know, but this is a faith walk, and it's intuitive. And Spirit's saying you learn how to trust yourself by listening to that intuition, because it's about you leaving the past behind. It's again to ascend life is you're walking into a new life. That's the end of that, where people are going to treat you that way. Because you're not that same person. You're not going to allow them to. This is a test. That's why you have so many of them treating you that way, where you're like, why is everybody all of a sudden? Spirit says, because it's a test. It's like, will you love yourself enough to do what's right for you? Will you stay true to yourself? As a child, you couldn't. So will you do it now? It's again because that person wants to come back. And so Spirit says it's about leaving it behind. It's again because you're growing. It's about, yes, being vulnerable, but by being authentic, by, putting yourself out there, like raw is real, but that doesn't mean to like, get close with anyone right away, Spirit's saying, because when you're finding yourself, it's not like life is great all the time. It's that you have to learn how to navigate, through difficulties. And that's by going with the flow of life. And that's through the passions of life, where Spirit says this person might have represented that. Like if you were like, I thought I was going to be with you. I thought that you wanted to be with me. And like we were going to like have that type of relationship. And Spirit says, you actually cleared a lot of spiritual blockages, and that gives you more energy to actually create. Haven't found yourself fully. You think that person is great, but once you go out into the world, you're going to meet so many other people and situations, experiences. You're going to be so glad that you didn't settle for that person, is what Spirit says, because you're moving into abundance. And I hate to tell you, it's about releasing, because you saw this person's true colors. So you are ascending, but you're also making this person ascend. It's about giving yourself big love to yourself, because, hey, you've been bottled up for long periods of time. So you learned about your choices, and that this is a choice, and that you get to do it. And that's the thing. You want to come and go. You would want to be able to be your own person, and this person would have a hard time with that, but however, but they would want to, come and go. That's the thing. So you don't want to be anyone's mother or father either, where, hey, they like your life because, hey, this is who you are. You're moving into abundance. Again, like I said it, like Spirit said, oh, like this is like over the top. Like it's almost like Spirit purposely made it over the top because, again, you have people that think that they're better than you and have for a very long time. So Spirit says, oh no, we're going big. Like big vacations, big flashy clothing. We're going big, because like that it can't be ignored, which is, again, creating a lot of anxiety for a lot of people because it's like you were so nice and always so willing to give, and now you're not going to give me anything. You're not going to do anything. And Spirit says that's karma. Now the scales are balanced. This is what it feels like, and that you have to give that karma. And you're like, I don't want to give the karma. I just want to be here and live a happy life and no drama. And Spirit says, oh no, you're getting drama. And you're like, I don't want drama. And Spirit says you're getting the drama because you grew up in drama and you weren't allowed to do anything about it. So there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And you do it right. And that's a test. You do it diplomatically because you're worried about your future. You're saying, oh no, you're not going to make me look crazy. You're not going to get underneath my skin that way. I'm focused on what I'm doing, where I'm going. I can like create boundaries in my life. I'm strong within my life. I'm not codependent. People tend to be codependent when they, again, feel a lack. They don't have friends. They have problems within their finances. There's always a problem. And so this is about you becoming fully whole, but not just becoming fully whole, but seeing whatever your options, being led. Like you get to do this now because, hey, you did the work. This person didn't do the work. And so they get to watch. And a lot of people get to watch. And that's the thing. When people are so superior to others for so long, well, eventually the universe does get tired of it. Where Spirit says, the path to light, make the conscious choice to move towards the light one step at a time. You transform your weaknesses into strength by mastering your thoughts. You overcome obstacles without positivity and acceptance, and you develop your gifts and extend your light to every being unconditionally. That's what you're on. You're on the path to light. And that's, understand through your way. And that's the most important, when you have a relationship with God first, and that's through yourself, through, again, not just meditating, but creating your life, because life is a co-creation process. But if we're spiritually blocked, then what happens is that we don't create the experiences that we want. We create the experiences that we don't like. And then we don't trust ourselves when really Spirit says, you can trust yourself, but you got to get a better connection to me. And only in the now do I give divine guidance. So all your mind chatter just gets in your own way and burns you out. This again, so it's about understanding we deal with problems as they arise. We don't deal with problems like we don't make problems. It doesn't mean that you don't think about issues. You can think about it, but don't obsess about it. Like where a lot of times someone makes you feel insecure, like I said, like you can't, or that you're deserving of bad treatment. Over time, if you stay in that environment, you're going to believe that about yourself. And Spirit says this is about like knowing already who this person is, and they can only meet you at their level of consciousness. And that would make it really difficult for you to create. So, and Spirit says it's all about keeping the serenity, right? And that's letting the universe do its work. You just need to focus on you, and not worry about that person, because understand Spirit says, I want that person to heal too, And so if you're in the way, busy fixing, that's not happening. So nobody's getting anything. It's just depleting your energy. And over time, you will be disposed of. And the reason why is because this person has a closed heart. The only way that they would open up their heart is to be a friend, to learn what a friend actually is, because they clearly did not treat you like that and they don't know how to do that. And any person that ghosts and stonewalls you, I mean, they expected you to obviously like fix it, or that it wouldn't have lasted this long, that they would have had to do the minimum, and you didn't fall for it. And spirit says, no, because what you're saying is, I know my worth. You would think that I don't know my worth. And that's why, again, that you need to be a little snooty. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated. Good morning, Rock Warrior. Sorry I didn't see you. If you guys have any topics that you want me to look at, you can always put them in the description box or send me an email. My shadow healing coaching program is on school, the one that I'm able to use my PDFs for, but I've decided to make the subscription better, where you can get free readings, come on a podcast, ask readings, you could participate. I love the fact that this platform, I can be interactive with you all. And be able to, like you said, answer questions, do oracle readings, but then also share the documents. Because a lot of people were not doing the homework. I would do the shadow healing coaching in YouTube, where I still offer the YouTube readings, but they were not getting the PDFs, and unless you're walking a person through that PDF, they're not going to do the homework at home. They don't do it. And so I had to move on to school, because I said that's it's just about listening to the readings. It's not about the healing, and that's the coaching is for the healing. It's like you have to learn why, because there's many different realities that play out at one time. So if you really like someone and you are balanced, that doesn't mean that that person's not going to still come in imbalanced. The difference is that they're going to try to emulate your energy. And what it is your boundaries. You're teaching a person, and they know intuitively, this person's not going to put up with it. This person, if I want to be with this person, I have to do X, Y, and Z. A lot of people say, why is it that this person, and God forgive me, is so ugly, and they get people to eat out of their palm of their hand? It's like, why is that? It's like, what did they have that I don't have? And what they have is boundaries. Is again, they set it up right out of the gate. This is how it's going to be. And if you would like it or not, and when you make a person work for it, it forces them to open up their heart. You're forcing them to invest in you. A lot of people are broken. Oh, my past relationship, whatever. Not your problem. Not your problem. You come in handicapped? Well, sorry, I like to go out dancing. So I'm sorry. It's like, if that's how you're coming in that way. It's not. And what that means is I'm so broken from the previous relationship. I can't give because my arm's broken. It's like, no, it's like you're coming in that way. So that means I have to accept that. And that means it's only going to get worse, because people get comfortable and they will follow your suit, and you'll be like, well, that wasn't a really big deal. Let me roll out the red carpet for you. And then you're like, why is this person treating me like shit, when really they came into my life like a bag of shit? It's like, but here I am helping you. It's like, because, hey, you disposed of yourself. This person's like, look, I didn't have to do anything. It's a few words. So that's why people think that it's mean when you, again, stand in your truth. But the truth of the matter is, no one wants to be like that either. It's like, if you're like that, it's because you don't believe that you can create your life. Codependency is that you think that you're flawed, that there's something wrong, where really there's nothing wrong except for the fact that you think that there's something wrong. And then you don't put the energy towards like growing yourself, becoming yourself. And so what happens is you're dealing with a lot of fragmented people. And so you'll be like, they're soulless. And fragmentation, when people are fragmented for long periods of time, they attract attachments. That's why you have to be careful who you sleep with, because there's some people out there that are just sleeping with everybody. And that energy is like, it's an energetic thing. And people, like, again, they ignore it, they don't see it, so they're like, oh, it's not there. It's there. It's like a parasite that eats away at the person's life. I've seen it where people have a great life, beautiful business, making so much money, and then they become like a whore, like a man whore or a woman whore, and like literally with everyone, because they're like, well, everybody perceives me as having all this money, and the ego took over to the point that now the person doesn't have that business anymore because they cheated on their wife, to the point that it's, again, that person got so mad that they, all the silent partners, got pulled into it and then pulled their money out of it. This person has no money now and they're getting a divorce. It's like, that's what a parasite will do. That's what an attachment will do. So yeah, this person did get a chance to run around and sleep with every, like, Mary, Jane, Kathy, and Susan, but nevertheless, it's like, it just, your life is ruined because of addictive behavior, because you were not rooted in anything except for your own demonic behavior, pretty much. Like, again, when you become so overridden by that, you're living by your addictions. And codependency is that the person has bad habits and they don't have, like, a purpose. Like, why do we get up in the morning? We get up, that if it was ruined, that's, where this person's coming into your life. And it didn't say that they lost their life, but people that are codependent and are that imbalanced, their life looks like a roller coaster. It's a second chakra imbalance. And who do you think helps them to get up here? They don't just get up here by themselves. People take chances with them and help them and believe in them and love them, but the person didn't work for it. So at the end of the day, they repeat the same cycle, of abuse eventually, because they were never made to do it. And that's why Spirit says you have to make this person do it, not be in their life. You'll always have a connection. You can be nice, be a friend to this person. Maybe not every day, maybe once a year, whatever it is, but they'll always have a strong connection to you. They're just not on your vibration. And this was a test, but a test that to help you evolve. I'm going to leave that there. Great. I'm so glad that I'm not glad that you resonated with it, Rebecca, because this person was like a really difficult relationship, but it was more about them, than you. Unfortunately, like I said, when you grow up a certain way, you don't recognize, you tolerate a lot more, behavior that's negative than you would if you came from like a home that was loving and nurturing. And Spirit says, but when you reparent yourself by becoming yourself, by taking a leap of faith and trying new things and being and doing stuff like that, well, you're healing yourself, you're reparenting yourself, you're giving you what you didn't have. So when a person comes into your life and is imbalanced, you're going to notice it. You're going to be like, no, because your life is going to be completely different. And that you're moving into like luxury times, right? It doesn't mean that you're not working. Right? It mean that you love what you do, but you get to travel, you get to do a lot of different things. And you're not going to want to waste your time with someone that isn't coming in on your level. And you can tell because you've done the work. You're on that level because you did the work. And that's the thing. People don't understand that money is really in alignment with, it's just a spiritual energy, and the reflection of it is all about you. But if you grew up in an environment where you were made to feel like you were worthless, well, this is what needed to be cleared. And you got that lesson from a lot of different people in order to clear it. Like there was no mistaking. Like everybody sees it. Even if they weren't spiritual, they're like, wait a minute, that person wasn't supposed to. And God says, yeah, I'm putting you in rooms that people never thought you'd be able to go into, and I'm doing that because who the hell are they? Nobody. It's like some people need to be checked, and Spirit says it's about you being true to you. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thanks for sharing your energy with me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.